Hi guys, the JazzieNerd here. Welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Snippet. So, with God's Not Dead 2 having come out in theaters fairly recently, I have a few things I want to say regarding that and the previous installment in the series, which was not as popular as you would think, even among Christians. Well, you know that it wouldn't be popular among non-Christians. It wasn't popular among Christians either. My boyfriend, who, as you will hopefully remember from other videos on this channel, is an atheist, recently showed me a Reddit post from a Christian who absolutely despised God's Not Dead, the first one. Some of his points were things like making Christians have to be the good guys, everyone else the bad guys, using invalid arguments for the existence of God, and things like that. For anyone who hasn't seen it, the first God's Not Dead movie was the story of a college student who enrolls in a psychology class taught by an atheist, who demands that his students deny the existence of God in writing on the first day. And let me just say that watching that movie gave me a couple of meltdowns in my first religious studies class, because I was worried that it would be biased in favor of the atheists, which it wasn't. I had a very, 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 very non-biased intro to religious studies professor. Anyway, the hero of this movie, as a devout Christian, refuses and spends the rest of the semester trying to prove the existence of God. I have to actually scroll my notes. This is the first time I've had to scroll my Sunday Snippet notes in a very long time. Anyway, as much as I loved the movie when I first saw it, I have to say I agree with some of the negative critiques. There was definitely a bit of stereotyping. And I have to admit that that whole scenario was completely invalid. I mean, my religious studies professor actually brought that up on the very first day of class. He showed a clip from the movie and said, "This is an unreal scenario. Any professor who tries to do that is going to get fired, regardless of whether or not he has tenure." But the point is not that it was a realistic movie. I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, one thing that I thought was very realistic, though, was that the arguments of some of the non-Christian characters were things that I've encountered before and since. Well, before now, since then. For example, the professor who is so vehemently against God used to be Christian and stopped believing after watching his wife die of cancer, which is an argument that I have run into several times since then, before now. You know, the argument that if God loves us, then why did he let my loved one die slowly of insert deadly disease here? The other has to do with Islam. One of the movie's side characters is a girl from a Middle Eastern family who's been listening to Christian sermons on her iPod in secret. When she's found out, her little brother kind of sells her out. Her father throws her out of the house saying, "There is one God," a line which captures 2 points of major, well, maybe not major contention, but contention between Christians and Muslims. One is the belief, held by some, not held by others, that Christianity and Islam have two different gods. There was a debate about that here at Elon a few weeks ago on the subject that I couldn't go to, sad face, which I really wanted to because I've always kind of taken it for granted that we have the same God. Maybe I'm wrong. The other is one that I've mentioned on this series before. People, particularly Muslims, I actually got in an argument about this on the internet with a guy who was Muslim, who know about the Trinity, but misunderstand it and think Christianity has 3 gods. Anyway, as to the arguments being invalid in the movie, who cares? This isn't a movie made to convince people who don't believe, because most people who don't believe aren't gonna go see it! Hello? No. Very few people who aren't Christian are gonna go see a movie called God's Not Dead! Anyway, I don't remember any of the arguments, but that doesn't matter because my boyfriend, who is my kind of go-to guy for general atheist when I need to know something about the general atheist mindset, told me to my face over, I think, spring break, that as far as he's concerned, there is no valid argument for the existence of God. So it doesn't matter that the arguments in God's Not Dead were no good. And, I mean, he watched the movie at my urging. So, anyway, moreover, arguing with people doesn't convince anybody. It doesn't. Trust me, I know, I've argued with people before, and I always lose. The most valid argument in the world isn't going to truly win any converts, because convincing someone that God is real and he needs to be a Christian, or let me rephrase that. Arguing with someone and trying to convince them that God is real and you need to be a Christian, even if you succeed, is only going to convince up here. And to truly convert to Christianity, we need to be convinced is down here in the heart. And only God can do that. So praying does a whole lot more for as far as spreading the faith is concerned than argument. And with regard to what I was saying about, the whole professor in that movie being completely unrealistic, the point of the movie is not to be realistic. The point of the movie is to, I guess, inspire Christians with this incredible act of faith that this kid does. The professor is an over-the-top villain for a reason. And the point is, and basically, as far as the way I see it, God's Not Dead is not a case study of a realistic modern-day debate between Christianity and atheism. It is a case study, an example of what Jesus said in the Bible like a dozen times. He pretty much guaranteed that we will be persecuted. And God's Not Dead is a case study of that. It's not supposed to be realistic. Anyway, now that I'm done ranting over this movie that came out when I was a senior in high school, I'm going to go. Also, if you've seen God's Not Dead 2, post in the comments what you thought of it, because I haven't seen it yet, and I'm debating whether or not I should go see it, considering that pretty much all I did with God's Not Dead 1 was sit in the theaters and cry. So it was a very good thing that I went to see it on a Monday night, because otherwise I would have disturbed the entire theater. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, head to my YouTube channel, check out some of my other videos, and if you enjoy those, hit the subscribe button, blah, because it's a big help. I need subscribers. I really do. I need to figure out how to get more of those, because I don't know. Actually, I do, and I haven't been doing it. So I need to fix that. Anyway, I will see you guys back here actually later today, because I am doing a showdown battle in like a couple hours. So come back here and watch that.